So another rational equation to solve. Our first step again is to go ahead and factor any denominators that we can. We can factor that second denominator, the first term on the right-hand side. So we'll write down x over x plus 4 equals 32 over x squared minus 16 is a difference of squares. So a squared minus b squared is a minus b times a plus b. So we're going to have x minus 4 times x plus 4. That's still plus 5. So now we can see that our least common denominator is x minus 4 times x plus 4. So we'll multiply both sides by our least common denominator. Now on the left-hand side, our denominators, our denominator will cancel because we have the x plus 4. And since there's only one term, I can go ahead and write canceling that. And we're left with x times x minus 4. Then if we distribute the x minus 4 times x plus 4, if we distribute that to the first term, the denominator cancels the entire denominator, so we're left with 32. And then we have plus 5 times x minus 4 times x plus 4. So we'll go ahead and distribute our x term on the left-hand side. So this was x squared minus 4x equals 32. And then we're going back to the x squared minus 16. And we should note what the denominator can't equal. X can't equal negative 4, and x can't equal 4. So this ends up being 5 times x squared minus 16, which gives us x squared minus 4x equals 32, plus 5x squared minus 5 times 16, that's going to be 80. And then combining like terms, we end up with x squared minus 4x equals 5x squared minus, this ends up being 48. Now if we move the 5x squared to the left-hand side, we're going to end up with a negative x squared term. So I'm going to move everything to the right-hand side instead. And we end up with minus x squared minus x squared. So the x squareds cancel, plus 4x, and I'll write this off to the side, plus 4x. So the 4x is canceled. We're left with 0 on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side we have 4x squared plus 4x minus 48. Now if you'll notice with that, we can factor out of 4. So this would end up being 0 equals 4 times x squared plus x minus 12. The 4 would end up canceling. If we factor, we want to see what two numbers multiply to negative 12 and add to 1, because that's the coefficient on x. I'm going to go ahead and write it back on the left-hand side and have it equal to 0. So we have 4 times, we know that if it factors, it's going to be an x minus and an x plus, because it's the only way to get a product that's negative and a sum that's positive. So x minus, x plus. Now what two numbers multiply to negative 12 but add to 1? Well, that would be 4 and negative 3. So x minus 3 and x plus 4 equals 0. And then using the zero product property, we have, well, we know 4 isn't equal to 0, but we have x minus 3 equals 0, so x equals 3, or x equals negative 4. But if you remember up here in the beginning, x equals negative 4, that's not a possibility, so this one is an extraneous solution. We're left with just x equals 3. And we'll still go ahead and check our solution. Check by substituting into the original equation. So 3 over 3 plus 4 we want to know, does that equal 32 over 3 squared minus 16, and then plus 5. So that's 3/7, 3 over 3 plus 4. Does that equal 32 over 9 minus 16 is going to be negative 7. Plus, if we multiply 5 times 7, that's 35 over 7. And then 3/7 equals, this is negative 32/7 plus 35/7 is 3/7. So our solution checks. In this case, we ended up with one extraneous solution. That's why it's important to note what x cannot equal in the beginning. It would, however, have come out, had you forgotten that x couldn't equal negative 4. If we substituted that, we'd end up with 0 in the denominator of both of our rational expressions in the original equation. So we would have recognized it was an extraneous solution when we checked.